I cannot be trusted to ever do anything correctly the first time. It's like the 5th time that I've rebuilt this motor. This is the 4th engine rebuild. Oh yeah, I love myself. You're being stupid. So today we're going to be kind of finishing up the motor for the Ford. Hopefully we can get it mounted in the truck today. It's kind of the goal. Everything already went together over the last couple of days. This is like the 5th iteration of this motor. I've had nothing but problems for the last 2 years. It started out as I had timing chain rattle, and if anyone knows these 4.0s, there's a timing chain on the front and on the back, and you can't change the rear timing chain or retime the motor with the motor in the truck. You can technically retime it with the motor in the truck. It's an absolutely miserable process. So at the time when I started to get the timing chain rattle, I drove it for like 1,000 miles. Still went on desert trips, didn't really care that much because I knew it was going to have to come out anyways. So it got to the point where the rattle started to get really bad. And I kind of couldn't ignore it anymore. So yanked the motor out. We'll pull the valve covers, and the timing cover or timing guides basically disintegrated. There's no guide.
Dude, there's straight up no guide. There's literally just metal.
Oh my god. Dude. Just look. That's supposed to be the guidepost. Wow, how is this motor... Oh, hang on, here's a piece of plastic. It's just a piece of fucking plastic. I didn't have the tools at the time to retime the motor, and I didn't want to spend $500 on OTC tools. So I just went ahead, pulled the motor out, sent it off to a shop, and had them rebuild it. In doing so, I took it to a shop that kind of fucked my shit. So this is why I will never take my engines to a shop ever again. Took this to a shop to get timing set, and this is at top dead center. I have all of the correct tools on here, and this is how they gave it back to me. That's supposed to rest flush right there, and if it doesn't, then your piston kisses a valve. Well, turns out not only is the timing off by a lot, this only goes in one way. Sits flush on this side and doesn't go in on this side. So the timing is 180 degrees off from cylinder to cylinder. It was unintentional, but they didn't have the timing tools. Timed the motor completely wrong. It somehow still started, but it was backfiring and sputtering and doing a whole bunch of really funky stuff. So we went ahead. This is not the right bolt. We knew something was off. Pulled the motor out again. Checked timing. At that point, I had bought the tools. Checked timing, realized it was 180 degrees off. Got our money back from the shop and decided, like, you know what, we're just going to do this on our own. So we retimed the motor, tried again. There were bent valves. So at that point, I just started looking for a new motor. I found a race motor, which is actually this one. So this was run in a 1400 truck. It's a stock 4.0 block, but it had Mustang heads and Marana cams and all that fun stuff. So I was a sucker and I bought it, put it in, and it was misfiring, and took it to the dyno. It made like almost 200 horsepower. But it ran like crap. And we realized that it was because the valves were bent and the rings were gone on the motor, so compression tested horribly. Okay, Dad, go ahead. You can stop.
Oh, that's fucked up.
And failed a leak down test. So then I started rebuilding. This is the original block from my truck. These are the original heads. I tried swapping the heads from one block to the other and running the Mustang heads with this block and didn't work. So now I had the heads fully remanufactured, had them gone through. Left the stock block as is because before I pulled it, it compression tested like 185 on all the cylinders. So took good care of it while I had it kind of stored away. But yeah, hopefully this is it. Hopefully the motor's sitting in the truck today. It'd be nice to have it running and be able to actually take it to events because I missed out on 2 desert seasons now. So just got the timing tensioners in. They were already in after I set timing, but we cranked it over a bunch of time. And they lose pressure since they're hydraulic, so it's just a good idea to prime them one more time before you throw the motor in. Got the headers on, oil tube, injectors are all in. Striker Performance did the rebuild on these, really helped me out. They're Bosch EV6 injectors. So just, you know, a little bit of an upgrade from the stock ones. Got all fresh O-ring adapter gaskets in. This motor has Murano cams, so they're the biggest lift and duration cams that Murano makes. Pretty standard if you're going to race 1400 with a stock motor to be doing something like that, or just have a Prerunner, depending on obviously regulations of your class that you're racing. But only other thing that's really different about this motor is just the aluminum head. So these are the 2000 Explorer 4x4 heads that they only sold in Mexico. Kind of difficult to get your hands on, but they actually came with the race motor that I bought, so I've been running them. Really no change or difference. You just have to flip the PCV system around because your vent port is actually on this one with the plastic heads and your oil fills on the other side. Outside of that, it's basically the same thing. Just because I'm worried about too much blow-by with any of the motors that I have, just because they're older bottom ends. I have a PCV vent from the bottom just through a freeze plug up to this recircs back into the normal PCV system. It just tees in. A lot of people just eliminate the PCV entirely and just go to a vent to atmosphere catch can. I actually have a Vibrant recirc catch can that I might throw on it, but we're going to see if there are blow-by issues with this motor or not. If it's an issue, but the motor still runs and it just makes kind of like crappy compression, I'll put a vent to atmosphere on just so I'm not gunking everything up from all the oil being burned and recirced back. But if it runs fine, then I'm just going to leave it. I still have my AC. I still have a lot of the stock vacuum lines in the truck. That'll all change when the truck gets caged. But for right now, it should be good. It's ready to get thrown back in the truck now. I just got to do the flex plate, which it's easy. I just got to get the motor off the motor stand. And, you know, I think I said 5 times earlier, but according to my tally, this is the 4th engine rebuild. So there's that. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Let's take a look at that thing. Hold that up like a trophy.
Yeah, it's my...
Let's see.
So I started doing this on all my vehicles because I cannot be trusted to ever do anything correctly the first time. So yeah, the Toyota has 2 tallies. This has 4. I think Ryan's car, well, Ryan has a manual, so you don't have a flex plate. He doesn't want to write on his clutch, but if we were keeping track, it would be like 9. So yeah, we'll see if this motor stays together. I'm really not crossing my fingers. This is kind of like a last ditch effort of like, let's spend $400 and do the heads and see if we can salvage a running motor out of what we already have. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And at that point, I will be doing an LS swap or maybe something like this. We're not sure. There's never been an N54 Ford Ranger, but I don't know. We do have 2 motors, and Ryan's been scheming about fully building the extra motor into a closed deck block, and when he does that, he's going to be pulling his current motor out. So we'll see. I don't know. Well, we're just going to kind of see what we have at the time when we have it, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But yeah, a Junkyard 5.3 will probably be what ends up in this. No, I just got to clean it all. Right back where it belongs. I don't know why our neighbors hate us. Yeah, so it's just like brute force. Putting the motor in. All of this comes over the front. And then we're clear for landing. I have a good method of getting the motor in, but it's still a battle, and I really think that there's an easier way. Fuck, I really hope I didn't end up with water in my transmission from all the rain. Always make sure you lubricate the tip. So it'll get really close to the firewall as I come down. We're already fucking close on angle. Let's see if I was smart or really dumb.
I'm gonna take an ankle grinder to your brake rotor.
Oh yeah, I love myself. I boxed all the
you got
bolts.
JE pistons too, dude?
Yeah, dude, I just built it. Yeah, dude. JE pistons, rods.
These rotors, dude. Jesus.
Leave me alone. They don't even spin. The truck's been sitting. Ryan, one thing at a time. Once
Take
the
a
truck
wire
can,
wheel to your rotors.
I did, and then it did that again. So once it spins, or once the car can move under its own weight, then we'll worry about rotors. Yeah, so these are all different lengths. So I just draw a little diagram of the transmission. This is looking from the rear. This is my starter motor going all the way around. And that way you just stay organized, just poke a hole. It's nice and easy.
God.
It's the dumbest thing any manufacturer has ever done.
Alright, push that sucker in now.
Yeah, we're fucking close. Oh, we're so fucking. Hang on, come look at it from the front.
No, that's what I was saying. It was going
right,
in the dowel.
look at the torque converter bolt. This
I
is the
know.
best it's ever been. No,
Right.
look. Are we on with the torque converter?
I don't know. Look.
Many hours later.
After like 3 hours of battling this motor into place, we realized that we were being stupid in trying to put the motor on the torque converter where there's 4 holes for the torque converter and the flex plate, and then there's one extra for who knows what reason that I never even noticed, and that 5th one means that none of the other 3 line up when you try and line it up off of that, so we just happened to pick the wrong hole. So we spent probably about 2.5 hours chasing our tail trying to get the motor in, and then yanked it back out in frustration to put the leveler on it. And when we did that, we realized our mistake, put it back in. It took us like 20 minutes after that, get everything lined up. So now I'm just getting trans bolts in. And then yeah, trans bolts, get the motor mounts on. Once it's resting on the motor mounts, we can go ahead and torque the bell housing. And then accessories and all that fun stuff. But at least the motor's sitting in the truck after 6 months of sitting in the garage. At least that's a good feeling.
Wow. That was kind of gnarly. Was not expecting that. Like, wow. Alright.